Okay, so today's lesson, warm up naming parts of an algebraic expression. So I have 11x squared. I'm going to go ahead and if I go to like draw, it will drop this down, and I'm going to hit the little pin over here on the bottom right, so it will stay there. That way I can keep going to this. Now the first question is, I'm going to go to a little highlighter, and what is the variable?
Or you can just click draw the touch.
Click what?
Draw the touch. The little hand.
Oh, with that?
Yeah.
Cool, thank you. Alright, so which one's the variable? Graham? Yeah, x is our variable. The power, or the exponent, the 2. The base, this one might be a little confusing for some people. Which one is your base?
The 11.
Nope. It's still the x. Which means my coefficient is the number that's coming before my variable. Okay? Just so we know those vocabulary words, when we talk about them, you know what part we're discussing. Okay, every day what we're going to go ahead and do is we'll read our goals. I need someone to read what today's learning goal is. And I did see, I think I had a little problem more than but it's a. So read the learning goal out loud for me, please.
I can understand different ways of representing numbers. I can apply the algebraic order of operations. I can represent situations using algebraic symbols. I can use representation to solve problems. I can solve problems in math and other contexts. I can print
Good, thank you. Alright, so I'm going to scroll down and we're going to get started. Now, I put on mine, so hopefully what's going to be happening here, if I'm not failing at life, is what I'm doing on my notes is going to be saved under the content library. You can come back and look at my notes if you need to. And you should also be copying them on yours so you can have them and I'll be able to see yours. Everyone should be taking notes on this right now. Okay? So I put L 1.1 because we're going to start doing lesson 1.1, evaluating expressions. So if you get confused, you know what video to go to. And it says, evaluate the expression when x equals 3. Most of you guys know how to do this. Evaluate means to solve. So all I'm going to do is, like I said, I like to see your guys' work. I do not just want to see an answer, but I'm going to show every single step. So I always replace x with 3, so I rewrite mine as 3 cubed minus 5. And then what does cubed mean? Well, 3 cubed means...
you times that number by 3.
Yeah, I times the number by itself 3 times. So I would say 3 times 3 times 3 minus 5. And now, honestly, if you guys were doing this, you could do this and just say, what is 3 cubed? I'm going to just break it down for you still. 3 times 3 is 9. So I rewrite it all. 9 times 3 is 27. And 27 minus 5 is 22. And that's our answer. That's the amount of work I like to show. I show every single step so I know what I did right or wrong. Now, if you just went ahead and said 3 cubed minus 5, and you went 3, let's switch colors, and you wanted to go 3 cubed minus 5, 3 cubed was 27. I mean, you could do that. I'd be okay with that. Because I'll be able to see, did you mess that part up? Alright, going to the next one. Same thing. 6x plus 2 all over x plus 7. So we're doing division. I just rewrite the whole thing. And remember, when the number, the coefficients by the variable, it means to multiply. So 6 times 3 plus 2 all over 3 plus 7. Alright, so 6 times 3 is 18 plus 2. And I can already do 3 plus 7 is 10. And then I break this one down. 18 plus 2 is 20. 20 divided by 10 is pretty simple. We good on that? Who says no? Which part are we lost on? What's up, Brianna? Which part did you get lost on?
I was doing the top part.
Okay. Did you do 3 plus 2 first? So you see that we put the 3 in for x. So then you have to multiply first. 6 times 3, which would be 18. And then 18 plus 2 is? Yeah, 20. And then we just had the 3 down here, so 3 plus 7 was 10. You see what you did now? Okay. So, evaluating expressions, I don't think you guys are going to have much trouble. All it is look, if they tell you x is 3, just put it in and solve the problem. Okay? Hey, my mouse. We go down here. In 1.3, we're going to be talking about translating verbal phrases. 1.2, the apply operations, it's kind of mixed in with evaluating the expressions and what we're going to do all day, because like on that previous one, I had to make sure I multiplied before I added. So that one I'm not going to really have a place where we're doing it. It's embedded through it all. Alright, 1.3 is where we are going to be writing expressions, and we have to understand the vocabulary words. So the first one, addition. Well, usually the keywords are sum, plus, total, more than, increased by, the sum of 2 and the number x. So we're going to go ahead and solve that one. How do we write it? Well, here's the trick, or my trick at least. When I look at this and I see sum, that tells me right away I'm going to be doing an addition. So I'm going to come over here a little farther, and I'm just going to say addition. Okay, so I have that part down. I know I'm doing addition. And then when I see the phrase, the sum of, that's important, because you're going to see that on a lot of these, where it gives you the phrase, the blank of, the sum of, the difference of, the product of, the quotient of. When you have that phrase, you should know the next things are going to come in order. So you don't want to be switching them around. So I see the sum of, I'm going to say, okay, I'm doing addition, and now I'm just going to put these in order. 2, okay, so I'm going to say 2 plus a number x. Well, a number x, so they're just mainly saying a variable. We don't know what it is, so 2 plus x. That is how we write that expression. The next one says a number n. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and put that variable first. A number n. And we have that keyword plus addition 7. So I write a number n plus 7 is just n plus 7. Not too tricky. Subtractions, difference, less than, minus, decreased by. So go ahead and try and do these first two for me. The first one said the difference of. I'm going to give you that hint. There's that phrase again. The difference of. And remember, this is the most important part with subtraction and division. You have to put your things in the correct order. I have to say 10 minus 8. I can't say 8 minus 10, or I'm going to get the wrong answer. With addition and multiplication, because of associative property, you can switch those around. So be careful on this. Alright, so what do you think on this first one? What did we get? The difference of a number n and 6. What did you write down? Brianna? Say it again.
N.
Okay.
-6.
Minus 6. Good. Perfect. The difference was our subtraction, the difference of, so I know now I'm going to put things in order. N and 6. N minus 6. A number y minus 5. Should be pretty simple. Rowan, what do you got?
I got y minus 3.
Yeah, pretty simple. Y minus 5.
5?
What did you say? Did you not say 5?
I said, oh yeah, never mind.
Okay.
My 5 looks like it's
That's what he meant to say.
That's what you meant. Okay, I'll give it to you. Multiplication, times, product, multiply by, and an important one, of. Of in our math is meaning our multiplication. So 12 times a number y. Well, we just write it. Here's the cool thing with variables, you guys should have learned. 12, instead of times, a lot of times we'll use that dot that's hanging in the middle. And you'll say 12 times y. We don't use the multiplication sign because that looks like the variable x. So you can say 12 times y, and when we have a coefficient of variable, you don't even put the multiplication. You just put them right together. 12y. 1/3, and then here's that of a number x. So what's a third of x? To find that, you just do 1/3 x. The other cool, you're going to change that a little bit?
Yeah,
How are you going to change it?
I'm just gonna write x rather than
Very good. Because it's 1/3 times x, your numerator times by the whole number, so the 1 times x, you would really write it just as x divided by 3. Good job, Zoe, you're ahead of me already. And the last one, division. Quotient divided by divided into. I always have to slow down when I do these so I do them right, because this is like subtraction. There's the quotient, so I know I'm doing division, so I'm going to write my division sign here. I like using the division sign the first time before I put this as a fraction. And we had that phrase again. The quotient of. So now I know to put things in order. The quotient of number k, so that will come first, and 2. So k divided by 2, or typically we will see it written as k over 2. Good job. Order is important when writing subtraction division problems. I already talked about that. So this, we're going to kind of go right through. It says, the difference of a number n and 8. When you read these and you're trying to write them, difference means to subtract, and then I see that phrase again. So when I do this, I go ahead and think, okay, I'm doing subtraction. Now we put them in order. So it's subtraction, a number n, and 8. N minus 8. We cannot write it as 8 minus n. That is wrong. If you do that, you fail at life. Probably should say that when it's being recorded. Parents are looking at me like, you don't have to fail. Alright. Next one example. The quotient. The quotient of. There's my phrase. Easily I have. Quotient means division. And so now I put it in order. X and 5. Or like we've been doing, we'll write it as a fraction. X over 5 not do it as 5 over, oops, I thought I put n. That would be incorrect. Okay, I know I'm going kind of quick over this, but it's just kind of getting your review. I feel like everyone's kind of knowing this. Go ahead and try number 1 and 2. I would highlight or underline the important parts. The quotient of 10 and twice the number x. And number 2, 30 more than the square of a number y. Okay, you guys work it. I'm going to start doing it and see if we all get along and got the right answer. Okay, so when I look at this one, I saw quotient. Once again, I know I'm doing division. The quotient of, there's my phrase, so now things are in order. I had 10, and, so that's where my division's going. So I'm dividing 10 divided by, and I'm divided by twice a number x. Twice means to multiply by 2. So twice the number x. 2 times x. And now, I'm going to write this way. I'm going to write it as a fraction, so this becomes my numerator. 10 over 2x. Okay. 30 more than the square, so here's my number 30, more than the square of a number y. Now, I'm kind of picky on this one. This is how a lot of the teachers have said the answer is. They wrote them in order. 30 more than means to add square of the number y. So here's y, and they squared it. So 30 more than the square of y. I don't like that one. This is me being kind of picky. It's right, because the associative property of addition, we can switch them around. But to me, when I read that, 30 more than, I feel like I should be saying it's this way. Because that's 30 more than a set number. Either way, though, is correct. Because the associative property of addition, we can mix those around. Alright, we're getting close to the end, and we're close to the end of class, so I'm going to just show you these symbols pretty quick. The first one, pretty easy, equals to, it's the regular equal sign. I always told my students in elementary, make sure you make your lines as straight as possible, because I'd have kids that did this. And then they'd argue with me, oh, that's equals to. It's like, oh, the answer was less than. Oh, I meant that's less than. It just didn't connect. Make it easy. I don't think it is. I'm counting it wrong. Equal to means they're the same. Everything's balanced. Less than. You should remember that. If we go back to our elementary days, remember it's like Pac-Man. Remember, in math, we're going to read just like we do in reading. We read left to right. So the number or the value on the left is less than the value on the right. Less than or equal. Less than sign and that extra line underneath. So I see less than, but then I can also see right there is my equal sign. So the value on the left is either smaller or it's the same number as the value on the right. And then the bottom two are just the opposite. Greater than or greater than and equal to. So make sure you understand those. And let's finish up our couple examples right before the bell's ringing. Write an equation or inequality. This is going to be the same as we did before, but now it's not just going to be an equal sign. We're going to use the less than as our equal sign or less than as our equal sign. So I still break down the vocabulary the same. Difference. The difference of, there's my phrase. So now when I go in here, I see difference, I'm going to do subtraction. And the first thing, the difference of 9 and this part's going to have 2 parts to it. Okay, this is where it gets tricky because we're writing some inequalities. The difference of 9 and here's a whole nother phrase. Now I'm going to break it up because I see quotient. I should actually highlight that. That means I'm going to have another step in here. So the quotient of, I still have that phrase right there. So do you see how we break up the phrases? It really makes it easier. The difference of 9, so I put the subtraction, 9 came first. The quotient of, now I'm going to be dividing. And so what comes first? The number n. And 2. Then they go ahead and tell me is equal to 48. So then I have the answer. Equal to 48. It's kind of a long one. I am going to, now Zoe, ever since you corrected me, that's all I can think of. I'm going to write it as a fraction. So 9 minus n divided by 2 equals 48. Okay, before you go, here's what I want you to try for me. I know we had just a couple other examples to do. Your assignment for tonight. We had a couple more. I'm going to give you something. You have 2 choices. 1, you can pick up this piece of paper. This is your homework. This is your assignment due tomorrow. If you want to do a paper copy, that's fine. Or it is right here in OneNote. Okay? If you want the paper copy, come get it. Otherwise,